Say when. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the February 16th, 2023 meeting of the Traffic and Transportation Committee of Community Board 8. I am Kelly Buford, and I am the chairperson of the committee. With me on the call are committee members Sylvia Alexander, Chris Calhoun, Mary Ellen Gibbs, Dan Paternak, and Deb Travis. David Gelman extends his regrets. And I note that we do have quorum and we can conduct the business of the committee in due course. With that, I would like to thank everyone for joining the meeting. Thank you to Assemblymember Dinowitz's office, Jesse from Assemblymember Dinowitz's office for joining. I also note that Rosemary Ginty and Camelia Tepelis, who are community board members, are on the call. We have all the presenters on the call, and with that, I will move forward then with the chairperson's report. The chairperson's report will be very brief, and that I will remind the community and the board to review the social media platforms for the community board. It contains a lot of information of activity that will impact your travels, and information is posted to the site daily. The next item on the agenda is the approval of the committee meeting minutes for the January 19, 2023 meeting. I direct the committee members' attention accordingly. I do note that there was a friendly amendment submitted to the agenda, and it concerns the heading of one of the items under new business. So new business, we referenced the pedestrian bridge over the Henry Hudson Parkway at 235th Street. However, it was not included in the heading, and David Gelman recommended that we add pedestrian walkway to that heading. And it's the very last page of the minutes. Does anyone have any objection to adding that to the heading? Okay.
Objection.
Okay. Thank you. Does anyone have any objections to the minutes with the noted correction? No? Okay, hearing nothing, then the minutes stand approved. We can then move forward to the next item on the agenda, which is the request to approve a street activity permit on behalf of the Riverdale Y, and Ms. Shira Silverman will present this matter to the committee. Ms. Silverman.
Thank you. Can I share my screen?
And unmuted. Deb, you can give Ms. Silverman.
Yep.
Thank you.
Got it. You should be all set, Shira.
Okay. Sorry, hang on one sec.
Do you have share screen as an option at the bottom?
No, I do. It's just, hold on a sec, sorry.
Okay.
I
No, I
put
just
it
want to
on
make
the
sure.
wrong-
Sure. Ms. Silverman, before you speak, I just would like to remind the community that we do follow Robert's Rules of Order for this meeting. We also ask that individuals limit their comments to 2 minutes, and Mary Ellen Gibbs will serve as the timer for this purpose. And please wait until you are recognized by the chair, which is me, Kelly Buford, before you speak. Thank you. Please continue, Ms. Silverman.
Okay. So we're applying for a permit for April 2nd, 2023. I apologize. For the Riverdale Y Sunday Market to be on Johnson Avenue. I'm still just want to make sure everybody knows what the Riverdale Y Sunday Market is. It was created in 2010 to provide the neighborhood with fresh local food, and it continues to be an important center of the community. As of last January, the market is year-round, and the spring season starts on Sunday, April 2nd. I apologize for all my mistakes. Our usual hours of operation are 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. with setup from 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. and breakdown between 2 p.m. and 3 p.m. The market has been taking place in the parking lot of Riverdale Temple at 246th Street and Independence Avenue since May 2020. So why are we asking for this street activity permit? We've been on Johnson Avenue twice now. And it really is an unparalleled opportunity for us to make the market visible. There are a lot of people in the neighborhood who do not already know about us. In fact, the vendors, both of the times that we've been on Johnson Avenue, they've told me that the majority of customers who they don't already know, because a lot of the regulars have come, told them that they had no idea that the market existed. We believe very strongly that the market is an important resource for the community, and we need everyone to be aware that it's there. What are the benefits? Our goal is to draw additional foot traffic to Johnson Avenue to benefit the storefronts. And we do already have a very loyal customer base that comes every week, about 400 people. And we hope to expose community members to local produce from the farms, vendors from other parts of the Bronx, and from New Jersey and Westchester, and sustainable products, and also artisans. So the logistics, there will be between 20 and 25 vendors. It'll be food vendors and artisans. There will be activities, 2 to 3 activities planned definitely for children, including arts and crafts, still working on that. Music, not sure exactly who the musician is going to be, but whatever it is, it won't require electricity or a stage. We always have our music between 11:30 a.m. and 12:30 p.m. And when we figure that out, I will get the sound permit from the precinct, as Officer Sala has told me to do. So this is the diagram. I didn't fill it in for where everybody's going to be, because it depends on who's going to be there. And actually, the biggest factor for how I lay out the market on Johnson Avenue is where the cars are, who's moved, when they've moved, when the vendors get there. So that's why I didn't fill it in. But it will be, there'll be 3 farms. There'll be 3 farms with their trucks. And then there'll be booths and activities on either side of the fire lane. I left out the outdoor dining in front of Metate, but it's really terrific that practically all the outdoor dining is gone, because that will make a big difference for us. So that's my very brief presentation. So if anybody has any questions.
Thank you, Ms. Silverman. Does any committee member have any questions?
Yes, Shira. Hi,
Yes,
Shira. How are you? It's good to see you.
good to see you, Dan.
So just one question, the traffic, you guys are shutting off traffic to Johnson Avenue for a certain amount of time?
Yes,
Okay, do you guys have like an emergency lane set up or like a 15-foot area?
the 15-foot right down the middle.
Gotcha.
I mean, the first time we did it, I was like, well, where do we put the 15-foot? And then I talked to Tracy Shelton, and she said, you just put it straight down the middle.
Yep.
So the only difficulty is that, this is why I hate it when people don't move their cars, is because now we'll have more space. So because there's less outdoor dining, but on previous occasions, it has really bothered me when a car hasn't moved and we're like 2 feet into the fire lane, or we have to estimate it a different way, but there's always a 15-foot fire lane.
Yep, and what were the hours again that you guys would be on the street?
9 a.m. to 2 p.m. with setup we have Orchards of Conklin always comes they come really early, but definitely by 7, and then everybody will be gone by 3.
Okay, so we're thinking the street will be closed from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m.?
Yes.
Okay, great. Thanks, Shira.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Any other committee members have questions?
Shira, I wondered, where do the vendors park their trucks?
Actually, so the farmers park their trucks. There are 3 farmers. They park their trucks on the street. if Bronx-bound Books comes, she'll park her bus on the street and everyone else unloads and finds parking somewhere else.
Okay.
The farmers have to have their trucks with them because they're constantly unloading stuff from it during the day.
And that'll all fit in with the outdoor dining.
Well, the outdoor dining's mostly gone. So what I've done is that I put so let's say Orchards of Conklin, they're the biggest. They have a 4-tent setup. So let's say they parallel park their truck in front of Bank of America, and then they set up their tents. They parallel parked their tents behind their truck.
Okay.
Okay. Are there any other questions from the committee members? Okay,
I'd like to make a motion to approve or to support the SAPO permit, if
Sure.
possible. Oh,
sure.
I do see a hand up.
Hi, Rosemary Ginty?
Yeah, I'm sorry, you were calling on committee members, so I waited until you finished with that. Are we allowed to ask questions, Kelly?
Sure, yes, go ahead. Lucy.
Okay, just 2 questions. Did you look at other locations? For example, Johnson Avenue south of 235th. Did you look at other locations? And number 2, were the merchants on the streets between 235th and 236 notified of this hearing? Thank you.
First question about whether we've looked into other sites. We've looked into a lot of other sites. I hadn't actually thought about south of 235th Street because that's where the entrance to the Q Food parking lot is. So actually I hadn't thought of that one. But we've chewed this over a lot, and really we feel that this is the best spot for us, that the rest are either too far away or they're just logistically impossible or they just don't exist. There's not a lot of open space in Riverdale.
Okay. And
The second question about the merchants, I did not go around to the merchants this time. I'm still working. I broke my ankle. So we had and it's almost healed. But I haven't gone round. So that's definitely something that I can do. I have talked to them twice before on the occasions before the committee meeting for the last street fair on Johnson Avenue. And then when we were there in December, I sent one of my students over there because I was in a wheelchair at that point. And he talked to all of the merchants. So I do need to notify the merchants.
I thank you for your answers. Thank you.
Rosemary, this is Kelly. I did connect with Nick Fazio, who's on the call, and also with Ed Green, and Nick has indicated that the merchants have been receptive to the market. And Ed Green did not see it as did not express any public safety concerns.
Hi, Kelly. Can I just clarify that, please?
Sure.
Yeah, so in past Riverdale Y farmers markets, the response that I've gotten from the merchants, and that doesn't mean 100% every single merchant, but all of the ones that I've spoken with about it were very positive. Their response was very positive about it, that it did have a good impact on their businesses, and any issues with deliveries and trash or anything like that were really irrelevant to them. And the same can be said for when KRVC was doing open streets on Johnson Avenue. So just to clarify.
Thank you, Nick. Much appreciated.
Welcome.
Okay. Are there any other questions? Okay. No questions. I have for the committee members, I have a copy of a draft resolution in support of the farmers market, the Sunday market. Does anyone have any questions about the proposed resolution? Does anyone oppose the resolution as presented? And for the record, I will read the proposed document. Whereas the Riverdale YMHA presented its intent to operate a one-time pop-up farmers market on Johnson Avenue, and I'll add between 235th Street and 236th Street on Sunday, April 2nd, 2023. And whereas the pop-up market has received favorable feedback from the community in support of the issuance of a full street closure permit to allow the event to occur, therefore be it resolved that the Traffic and Transportation Committee of Community Board 8 Bronx supports the issuance of a permit to the Riverdale Y Sunday Market for full street closure on Sunday, April 2nd, 2023 on Johnson Avenue between West 235th Street and West 236th Street for the sole purpose of operating a one-time pop-up farmers market. Does anyone oppose the resolution as presented?
Kelly, not as an opposition, but as a friendly amendment, can we just add on the first line from 7 AM to 3 PM? So the board members will see that up top. Sunday, April 2nd,
Sunday.
2023, from 7 AM to 3 PM.
Sure.
And then if we can just add a sentence, whereas the applicant shall maintain a 15-foot emergency traffic lane through the center. That way folks are aware of that as well.
Is that acceptable, Dan?
It is to me, if it's okay to the committee members and the chair.
It's fine with me.
Fine with me?
Actually, to do a 15-foot emergency lane through the center. Add through the center. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Okay, thank you. If there are no further comments, then we can deem this matter approved. Thank you, Ms. Silverman.
Thank you very much to all of you, as always.
You're welcome, our pleasure. Oh. Okay. I see my screen was very happy. My camera was very happy. It was dancing before. Thank you. Then we can move on to the next item on the agenda, which is the request for street naming on Broadway in honor of Lloyd and Betty Campbell of Lloyd's Carrot Cake Bakery. We have Brendan Adams and Joanna Edmondson of Female Flight Club on the call to present the matter. Brandon, Joanne.
Hi, everyone. I spoke to Joanne briefly. I don't think she's going to be able to make the call. I'm not sure if she's on, but I'm pretty sure she's not going to be able to make the call. We really appreciate the effort that she's done so far to kind of help bring this to the forefront for us, because this is something that's been, close to the heart of many of us in the community. Even before the passing of my mother, I know it's something that she was really excited about the prospects of having the street renamed after the business. After speaking with the committee chair, I know there is a little bit of an issue with renaming a street over a commercial entity. So, I think the best practice may be to just use this as an opportunity to honor both my father and my mother, both of which who were, for lack of a better word, just forces within the community. I know my mom has a lot of deep ties with the Community Board 8, especially with them renaming the Merchant of the Year award after her, which most recently has done over the past 2 years. And just really want to take this as an opportunity to kind of highlight, what they've done as Black business people within the community, and just make it a permanent part and permanent fixture in the community. So I don't know if there's anything else that I need to say specifically. And again, I'm sorry, I'm in transit right now. I'm finishing up some business in New Jersey, but I'm happy to field any questions or any other comments that are needed.
Sure. Thank you, Brandon. I'll ask the first question. Brandon, in the initial paperwork that you provided, you did not include the date of death for your father. Do you have that information readily available?
The date of birth for my father, you said?
Death.
The date of death. Oh, the date of death was February 1st, 2007.
To 1/20/2007?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Does any community committee member have any questions regarding the proposal?
I do. So I was just like reviewing kind of the requirements for street naming. And so they,
You're frozen, Deb.
Deb, we lost you again?
I closed over my video.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Well, so in reviewing the requirements, it was they have to have been deceased for greater than 2 years and have been nominated by 3 or more organizations, which are.
We're losing you. We lost you again, Deb.
Have you received your nominations?
Deb, it seems that you cut off, but it seems as though you were asking if the item, if the request has been 3 organizations within the community board has recommended this, and the answer to that question is yes.
Okay, great.
And they are the Riverdale Neighborhood House, Riverdale Main Street Alliance, and the Kiwanis Club of Riverdale. I also note that Councilmember Dinowitz is in support of the renaming of the street. We did speak with him and he is fully on board with that.
Along with the Bronx Borough President, Vanessa Gibson, she's an ardent supporter of the street renaming as well.
Thank you. Does any committee member have any additional questions? Okay, does any community member have any questions?
Kelly, just one note for this application. Not a question, but I did see on the application that there were 150 members of the community who did happen to sign on to a petition in support of this street renaming. And I
Yes,
did want to highlight that for the community. And you know, I didn't know Lloyd personally, but I did know Betty, and she was a phenomenal person. Brandon, your mom was a great woman, very active in the community, all over, just, you know, with her time, energy, everything. And I definitely think Betty's definitely deserving of this honor.
Thank you so much for sharing. That means a lot.
thank you, Dan.
Mhm.
Any other comments? or questions?
I'm trying to unmute, sorry.
Sure. Thank you. Go ahead, Ms. Clark, please.
I'm having trouble unmuting. Hold on.
We can hear you, so.
Oh, you can? Oh,
Yes,
okay,
we can
sorry.
hear
It says
you.
it says I'm muted. I'm with the Van Cortlandt Track Club, and I just have to echo the sentiments about Betty Adams. And actually, some of our older members of our track club remember Lloyd very well, and actually worked for him at one point. But, you know, as a community presence and a beloved member of the community, I can't say enough about Betty Adams and how much she's done for the community. And I think having that reminder is, you know, a wonderful thing. So I'm here kind of independently, but I know I represent the sentiments of the Van Cortlandt Track Club. And Betty Adams was a great supporter of our club and many of the events that happened in the park. So I'm just adding that.
Thank you, Ms. Clark.
So much, Miss Betty.
Nice to see you, Brandon.
Please tell me when you can see my screen. Are you able to see my screen?
Yes.
Yep, we could see.
Okay, perfect. So on the screen, we have the recommended language for the resolution, and I will, it's lengthy. So I will actually, unless everyone would like to have it read, I will just skip down to the resolution. But it's about 3 pages long. I will defer to you. Okay. So I will skip down to the action, which is really the committee approving the renaming and recommending the renaming to the board. So therefore be it resolved that the traffic light controlled east-west crosswalk located at 6115 Broadway between West 251st Street and Manhattan College Parkway be named Betty and Lloyd Adams Way. Does any committee member have any objections to that? Okay, hearing nothing then, the resolution is approved as presented. Brandon, again, thank you. We
No,
really
thank you so much. This
appreciate-
so much to me, family. We really, really, really appreciate this, and I can't spread the good news. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. And next steps is we will now have to present this for 2 consecutive meetings at the community board, and those meetings will be in March and April. And then after that is fully approved by the board. Okay?
Okay, and whatever you guys need from me, really, 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 I can't express how happy this makes me here. Thank you again.
Thank you. Much appreciated. Take care. Stay safe.
This is Johanna Edmondson. I'm from the Female Fight Club.
Hi, Joanna.
How are you?
Brandon
Thank you.
presented. Go ahead.
yes,
I'll give you the floor. Go ahead.
Thank you. Yes, I actually have spoken to Brandon prior to the conversation. So, of course, to give him obviously the floor. This is his mom, and this is an amazing, amazing, gesture for us to thank her for all the service to our community. And her legacy and her husband's legacy will live on in our community. So thank you so much for taking the time.
Oh, thank you for the recommendation. Have a great evening. Okay, we can then move on to the next item on the agenda, which is a discussion on a proposed walkway on Independence Avenue at the corner of West 231st Street. And Ms. Sura Jesselson is on the call. And Ms. Jesselson, I will share your rendering that you provided earlier.
Thank you. You can hear me, I hope.
We can.
Okay, so I just really, at the moment, I would really like to just bring this to the attention of the Community Board's Traffic and Transportation Committee. As you all must know, the buses have been rerouted down Independence Avenue, work on Henry Hudson Parkway. The block I live on, which is the block between West 231st and West 232nd, is not really very suitable for the amount of traffic by so many buses. That is not to say that we expect you to reroute them anywhere else, but my concern is for the safety of pedestrians. Our property stretches approximately 3/4 of the block on the eastern side. I and my husband have taken the initiative years ago already to make sure that there's a walkway so people are not walking in the roadbed. Now, I was just a few minutes before this meeting, I was in touch with Lehman College, who has the use of the property that is next door to me and represents the remaining quarter of the roadway between our property and the corner at West 231st Street. I am in touch with them so that my request to them is that they move their hedges back from the edge of the roadway all the way, maybe any place between 3 and 5 feet, which will enable some sort of a walkway to simply be put in place so that people can walk the length of our block from West 231st to West 232nd safely and off the roadbed. As I say, at the moment, I'm in touch with Lehman College directly, so I'm not really trying to invoke the community board at this moment. I would just like to apprise you of the difficulty and the safety concerns that I have both as a resident on the block and as the president of Along the Hudson Homeowners, which covers that area. So I just wanted to bring this to the attention of the committee, and should I need it, I would like to be able to turn to the community board for support to get such a roadway, such a walkway. And I'll take any questions anybody has.
Thank you. Does any committee member have any questions? Okay. Does any community member have any questions? Dan, are you able to see the screen?
Yeah, I think I could see it there.
Okay.
I do have one question, sir, just to,
Sure.
I'm trying to, if you could zoom into that area, the one that you have marked there.
Yes.
I mean, they're two different parcels, right?
There's the parcel that belongs to, well, it's called the Dormitory Authority of the State of New York, which somehow has leased it or has given it to Lehman College. That's on the corner of 231st and Independence. And then there's, our home and our garden, which I believe you're familiar with.
Just, I'm looking at what's, yeah, and I believe your house is kind of where you have marked off there. It says area that requires. I just
No,
want to be clear
No,
about
this
what,
is-
no. The area that's marked off is the Dormitory Authority property. That little balloon is where our house is, and from our house to West 232nd, we have a walkway.
Mhm. Understood. So are you, is there a request that you
First
have?
put it in, people were still walking in the bed of the road. So all I want is to have a continuous pathway from West 232nd to West 231st. And by the way, I didn't say it yet, anybody who wants to come and just walk with me over the area that's in question, I'm available and happy to do so.
Thank you. Ms. Teplis?
Yes, hello and good evening to all. I just want to add my voice in support of
I can't hear any, I can't hear.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, Camelia.
No,
Surah, it seems that some people can hear me, the committee members, so I will keep speaking. What I'm saying is that as a parent, using that section to pick a child from school, I'm just applauding and conveying my thanks to you for raising this issue. I am driving that area, and every time I'm worried about the safety of the pedestrians that are literally within inches of my car. And now we see buses taking that, so it was tricky as it is to navigate turning right there. So I would just convey my support to your ask and my plea to the TNT committee to actively follow this up, because indeed that intersection sees a lot of children, a lot of pedestrians. You see moms running to pick their children from school, and between sort of 2:30 and 3:15, it's a really tight space there. So just wanting to add this, and thanks Surah for bringing this to the attention of the committee and for taking as an individual property owner the steps to reach out to the other property that needs to, I mean, that would be nice of them to move those plantings. Thank you so much.
I could hear you slightly. I'm sure if you saw me on the video, you saw my ear, but I appreciate the support, and you're absolutely right. I cringe when I watch some of the traffic coming through our block. So thank you, and I hope that we can resolve this very quickly and amicably with Lehman College. But I just wanted to apprise the committee of the situation in the event that I do need their help. Thank you.
Thank you, Deb Travis.
I'm going to try to talk. Hopefully you can hear me. I just want to also thank Shura for coming forward with this. And
Hey, Deb, you're breaking up again.
Yeah, we lost you, Deb.
Sir, is it possible for you to stop your share? I'm just going to pull up a Google map so people can see the street.
It's actually me. I'll stop, Deb.
Oh,
I'll stop,
I'm
Dan.
sorry. Thank you. I'm gonna, yeah. Hopefully this helps. It helped me.
Sir, my question for Sir was, were you planning on working with Lehman to get some side?
I'm sorry.
Deb,
All
you're
I
still
could-
breaking up.
Can you hear me?
Deb, would you like to send me an email and I can read your question?
Sure, I'll try.
Okay. Dan, go ahead.
Yeah, is this, sir, is this the area?
Good question. No,
Those are the hedges.
I'm
Those are
not
the
as,
hedges
I'm not
next
as
to your
adept
house.
as you are with this. No, it doesn't look right. Ah, there
Yeah,
you are.
these-
There, wait, there you
Here's
are. Now
231st
move,
Street.
there, move to the left,
Yep.
move to the left. There you go. You see the
Aim
the
camera towards
hedges are
north.
right up to the, basically to the street line. And, wow, that does not look like us. No, that's not us.
This is
Sure, it
231st
is,
and
but it's
Independence.
summertime.
Mhm.
I'm sorry?
This is 231st and Independence.
You had it a few earlier. You were at the intersection and then you have to move north on Independence and you'll see. I hope
That's
you're
the
more
hedges.
adept at this. I tried to work with Google Maps and I was having trouble.
There's your driveway, Sarah. These are the hedges, right? That's your driveway sticking out.
The heck? No, it's not right.
Might be a little
Keep
bit more
moving
forward.
north then.
A little bit. I think it's right there,
That's
Dan.
your house. Now we're at your driveway.
Whoa.
It's right before you go
Now
up the
you're
hill,
in
I
front.
think.
Now you're in front of my house, but the perspective is not right. But
Sura,
that doesn't
these are
matter. Yeah.
summer pictures, so it may look different now.
Yeah, no. It's not the foliage. It's the perspective of the lens. It's very hard to tell. But let's see.
Is it the property right
Uh,
before the hill, before it turns?
Yeah,
To go
Sir,
up?
this is it. These are the hedges on the corner of 231st, on Independence
Wasn't talking,
Avenue
wasn't-
at the corner of 231st Street, right past your house. Is that where you were talking about? That's what it looked like on the map.
It's right before the hill, right?
No, there's no
Before it turns? It's up further right before it turns, right? I've walked this going to school when I was a kid.
That is not it.
Dan, can you do a Google Maps satellite overview rather
Sure.
than the street
the
view
heck?
and let
Yeah.
her pick the corner?
Oh,
Maybe not satellite overview.
Nah, it's worse.
Yeah, that's good. See the entrance to the group home, sir?
no. Here.
I think she means where your arrow is, right? Right at the, where the
I believe
hedges
so,
are
Deb.
at the house.
Okay, it's under a tree cover with that picture. A field trip might be in order.
Okay, but just to be clear, you are
ahead.
certain that it's the dormitory authority that owns the property?
I'll tell, certainly 15 years ago when I was dealing with them, that was who was supposed to be the owner. Right now, if you go on some of the city records, it says Lehman College. I will tell you that 40 years ago, when we first moved here, it was already the residence of the president of Lehman College. So exactly how the arrangement works, I can't tell you. I can just tell you that I do deal frequently, I do deal occasionally with Lehman College directly. And so I gave them a call today, and the woman sounded very nice. And I expect on Tuesday, a manager from Lehman is going to come to the property, and I can walk him around and see, and show him what I think needs to be done. It shouldn't be terribly expensive and certainly will not compromise the property at all. And so I can keep you posted as to what's going on.
Yes, that would be helpful. Deb Travis's question
Okay.
is, are you advocating for a concrete sidewalk with curbing or just room to walk?
Absolutely no concrete sidewalk. There are lots of reasons not to do it. We just need to move it back and to put in some sort of, it could be beaten earth, it could be gravel. It just has to be level passable, and available. We don't need anything else, and frankly, too much of Riverdale has been paved over and it's unnecessary. The idea here is safety, not somebody's idea of regulations. So I am absolutely against any paving. All we need is something that will allow public safety.
Thank you. And you do, if it does come before the committee for formal vote, you do recognize that when DOT is in the area, that they will look at the block in its entirety and it may impact your property.
No, I don't recognize that. This is not the purview of DOT. There are lots of elements. Riverdale is full of unique spots, and this is one of them. And that's why I'm simply trying to discuss this as advisory. I want to be helpful to the.
We recognize that. We recognize that, but you did also say that if it is not, if you are not able to resolve it with Lehman College, and Rosemary Ginty, I see your hand and I will come to you in a moment. If you're not able to resolve it with Lehman College, that you may bring the matter back to the T&T committee. And
That would just be, I think, a reasonable public process. So that's where I would like to interface with the community board on this issue. Okay. And
Thank
if
you.
Rosemary has a question for me, I'm happy to answer it.
Oh, Sarah, I'm going to take you up on the field trip. I love
sure.
It's spitting distance from me.
Right.
I totally support your idea of do not get DOT in this. Do not. Be careful what you ask for. You will wind up with hell if you get
I know.
DOT in there. Okay. And safety, number one. Let's all the committee or people in the area come up with a way to make it safe, but keep DOT away from that area.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay, good girl. Love you. I'll come down and do a walkthrough. Okay.
Okay,
good.
sounds good.
Thank you, Deb Travis, followed by Ms. Silverman.
I'll try to speak. I was just gonna say the same thing that Rosemary said, that I think DOT's perspective on this is that the sidewalk is kind of mandatory and that they haven't followed up or done anything about it because there's been no request. So it would be better for us to not make any kind of formal request regarding DOT in that area, but I do think it's wonderful that you're working with Lehman, and anything we can do to help you make contact with them, that would be great.
Thank you, much appreciated.
Yeah.
Thank you, Ms. Silverman. And you can unmute yourself.
Hi, just listening. Whether or not the DOT is called upon or whether anyone decides to pave that stretch, I think that it is important to consider the issue of accessibility. And I say this with particular emphasis because I did break my ankle and I used a wheelchair and I used an e-scooter and I used crutches. And it is very important that everyone can get over a stretch of whatever, and that some surfaces are simply not conducive to that. So that's it.
Okay, I'm listening, but let's take this one step at a time. And the only thing I would say about accessibility, and I'm certainly not belittling the problem, I'm older and mobility is a serious issue, is that this is not the exclusive way of getting from south to north. So there are ways, and there are previously paved areas, paved sidewalks, which will allow people to access exactly what you want. So let's keep DOT out of this. Let's be reasonable, and let's not destroy the neighborhood, while we're trying to do minimal improvements. I have a feeling that Lehman will be very, very agreeable, but I've been very concerned. I was not aware that they were going to be pushing buses through our block, and I wouldn't have objected. I mean, there's nothing much you can do about it. They're not going to put it down on Palisade, but nonetheless, it is it's a severe disability to the homeowners here. As you know, as I pull out of my driveway, my neighbors as well, and let's just take this one step at a time. And as I say, let's be reasonable. So I thank you for all your suggestions and comments, and I'll keep you posted.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. We can then move on with the next item on the agenda, which is a discussion of proposed fiscal year 2025 capital and expense projects. Ms. Silverman, is your hand still up? Do you wish to speak before I continue, or is that just you never put it down?
I'm so sorry. I'm terrible with that. I just never put it down.
It's okay. Thank you. Committee members. We were asked to come to this meeting with any proposed capital budget expenses for fiscal year 2025. I shared with the committee the responses from the agency to our 2024 proposal. And so we, going forward, any step streets, we should aver to have them. Jody, I see your hand. I'll get to you in a moment. Have them separated out so that it's clear. Apparently DOT can't connect, doesn't realize that this is one community and that they're all next to each other. And so we have to figure out how we can better manage DOT. I see a question from Jody Colon, community member, followed by Mary Ellen Gibbs.
Thank you, Kelly. I don't have the budget request document in front of me. Can you refresh my memory as to whether the Bradley Terrace Step Street rehabilitation to restore the hex paver was on 2024 or not?
I did not see Bradley Terrace Step Street on that. So if that is that something you would like for us to add to 25?
I don't know. I thought we had discussed it. I just didn't remember what year it was for, because we talked about restoring it has the asphalt hex pavers, which is used in the NYC DOT street design manual, is used in park-like atmospheres since it's connecting to Shorefront Park. But DOT is supposedly going to concrete the whole thing over because someone complained that pavers were missing and now it's hazardous and dangerous. So I was just wondering if we had put that in already as a capital request.
Jody, it is there. I see, I'm just like scrolling through. It is on the document for the committee members who have it. It's on row 18, combined with a couple of other things.
Oh, okay, so because I remember us discussing it, but now I'm like, for what year was it? So that's for 2024, right?
Correct.
What was their response, Deb, if you don't mind?
This request contains different proposals for locations that are not contiguous. Please resubmit as part of general area, like everything, or as individual locations. Kelly, on this front, I thought,
Deb.
Oh, I was gonna say, I was just gonna Kelly, I'm willing to volunteer to break these step streets out into individual pieces if that makes it easier, and we can kind of figure out which 2 or 3 or 4 we want to keep in.
That would be helpful. Thank you.
Yeah.
Because Deb, I think that what happened was that somebody else lumped them all together because when we did this for this budget, everything was listed individually because we were ranking them, which street is more important than other streets. So I don't know what the process is from the committee to the executive committee to the board to whoever submits them, but somewhere all these step streets got combined into one thing, which caused them to be rejected. So before we go into that again, could somebody find out that process? Who grouped them?
I think, I mean, to be honest, Jody, I think they may have gotten grouped because we had a chair transition. So I don't know when they got grouped. They got grouped probably over the summer.
These actually were approved at the end of last year. So this is for stuff that was done before I became chair. So,
Right.
but since I was a committee member and I was a board member, I can state that they were grouped together initially because there were many items, priority items, and the board was trying to put together, the committee rather was trying to put things together in hopes that we could have more items on the agenda in their budget. However, when they brought it back to the board, the community board, they said that we needed to split them up so that they could understand what was going on. So we can, Deb, if you could take the lead in separating it, that would be helpful.
Yeah, because I think part of it was we were hoping, a DOT had said they would get back to us after they inspected it and that they would do some of this work so we could get some of this stuff just off. So we wouldn't have to even have it as a priority, or they would tell us if it was a capital or expense item. And I imagine they just didn't follow up.
So Deb, that's exactly my concern. If
Yeah.
this was on the budget request for fiscal year 2024, this particular Bradley Terrace Step Street, and a community resident put in a 311 complaint about that stair street being hazardous due to a few missing pavers, DOT's solution is to pull all the pavers up and concrete it over, as was told to me by the DOT workers who were clearing the plants that were along the fence. So that's what I was concerned about, is it's in 2024. Is DOT going to try to do their DOT-ness solution by fixing the street without it honoring what the community board's request was about the hex pavers?
So, yeah, right, exactly. The community board request is that it is to reconstruct the step street and restore the historic fencing and hexagonal pavers. So that's the request.
So Kelly, you see why I'm hesitant to put it back in if we can't make them stop doing what they're doing?
Sorry, I'm talking to myself.
You wouldn't be the first person.
Yes, I do. But I thank you, Mary Ellen. But I also think that we should separate everything and submit it as they've requested. So this way they don't have a reason to deny the request. Okay. And thank you, Jody. Mary Ellen Gibbs.
The overpass at 235th Street, I know we had put it on the list because it's really in disarray.
Okay.
And it really needs to be lit up because it's like a haven now because everything's getting so crazy. It's like somebody get mugged on there. It's really dark on it. So we can get some lighting on there, it'd be really make it more safe on there. Anybody hear me?
Yes, at 235.
235th Street, yeah, and Hamilton Parkway,
Okay.
that overpass there.
Okay.
Not only is it like really, it's really falling apart, but it's very dark and like, you know, not only you could trip and fall and be an accident, it's dark there too, so. It's just a mugging waiting to happen.
Okay, thank you. That may be something that we can actually escalate and don't wait for
Yeah, thank you.
the budget. But if you could actually also call 311 and report it and then give the office your complaint number,
Sure.
that would be helpful. Thank you. Deb Travis, followed by Chris Calhoun.
I wanted to add, just as the Parks Chair, that for item number 8, the Van Cortlandt Park Bailey Pedestrian Plaza, it's kind of a combination of pedestrian entrance to Van Cortlandt Park and then the step street that's adjacent to it. On the Parks Committee, they gave us this kind of, it looks like that request went to DOT. And so we're gonna reshape it so it really just focuses on the entrance to the park so that we can get it onto the park list more clearly. So I'll break that out also, that step street out, and put it with the rest of the step streets so we can kind of rank and prioritize it that way. But I wanted to just make sure that the committee supported that. If there ever had any concerns about breaking out the entrance to Van Cortlandt Park from that request.
I do not. I do not.
And then the other thing I just wanted to raise was that we had that other lighting request, which is line 10, and DOT's comment regarding that was, and it's relevant to the request that Mary Ellen just had for additional lighting. It says standard street lights can only be replaced if the request is accompanied by funding to cover all equipment, construction, and additional electrical costs kind of going forward, like somebody has to pay the electrical bill, which makes me crazy. But that's what they told us when we were discussing this with them last year. So you have to have a maintenance agreement in place.
Question, Deb, as I recall, there are existing lights there, correct? So we wanted them to change out the lighting. So those are two different issues, because Mary Ellen is suggesting that we put more lighting there to aid, because this becomes dark. There isn't enough street lights there. There aren't enough street lights there over the overpass.
So
right?
yeah, we can try it. Yeah, I'm not arguing against it. I'm just saying that they may come back. Yeah.
The lighting around the reservoir, it's lit. So we wanted, how do I say, prettier lighting, I guess. It's more aesthetically pleasing lighting.
Pedestrian lighting, yeah, more for the walkway, less for the cars. Yeah.
Okay.
So for this one also, this was another one that's kind of was a Parks DOT one, and I think we'll split this. Parks will just take this one, and we'll try to press Parks to put park lighting around the park walkway and get it out of the DOT requirements for having a bid to pay for the future electricity, and see if we have better luck that way.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Chris Calhoun. Anything else, Deb? I'm sorry, Chris. Deb.
Oh, no, I'm all good. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Chris.
Hi, Deb. Hi, Kelly.
Hi, Chris.
Dare step streets again, or is everyone going to lose it? However, there was a step street that was brought up, and I remember discussing this with Deb, and it was lighting on 6th Street in Marble Hill that I said didn't need it, and it didn't need it. However, I wanted to bring up this step street again if we're going to parcel them out, which I did talk to David Gelman recently, that he thinks we need to individualize these things, is that rebars showing up in the steps, those are the steel bars that shows where underneath the concrete, everything's separating, the handrails are rusting, and if we're going to parcel these out, I definitely do have a step street that needs some attention, and it's probably the only step street that has a name to it, and I can bring that up now or after, but I have another item which has nothing to do with the step street, which should be very refreshing to everyone. Graffiti seems to be making a comeback, and I've noticed that the retaining wall from 2nd Street, right, sailing down Riverdale Avenue, down to Irwin Avenue, which was made up of supposedly stone from the High Bridge in the Bronx, is getting tagged. Is there a way to get that cleaned and maybe protected before it turns into an eyesore? And those are my 2 items for our list.
I'm talking to myself again. Your step street, what is your step street location?
Marble Hill Lane. It has a name,
And it's where exactly?
228th Street, running up to Marble Hill Avenue. I believe Deb's familiar with it because she had me check it out for lighting. You were on the committee too, and I verified, no, lighting's great there.
Okay, 228 and Marble Hill Avenue is the closest intersection.
What's the
Is that
closest intersection? It runs
To the step street,
and Broadway, but it's not quite at Broadway, and Marble Hill Avenue would be the other end of it.
Oh,
But
okay.
it definitely is possibly the only step street in our community that has a name.
Okay, thank you.
It's named Marble Hill Lane, and it has a sign and everything.
Okay. And then your graffiti, you were breaking up when you, what is the intersection?
That majestic retaining wall coming down Riverdale Avenue. You come down from about 236th and Riverdale down to Irwin Avenue and Kingsbridge. And it's beginning to get tagged with graffiti. And before it turns into a neighborhood eyesore, I think it probably is a DOT issue. Clean it and maybe put some sort of protective sealant on it before it does turn into a tag zone.
Okay. Jody Colon?
Sorry, Chris, Bradley Terrace is a step street. It does have a name. And
Jody, I stand corrected, sorry.
And graffiti, NYPD there was a graffiti at nypd.org. They were taking complaints. If you do a 311 complaint for graffiti, I think it does go to NYPD, and then they try to get the community to help clean it up. But some of these, just point of some of these tags, one of the kids is 40 years old now. He used to tag in the 90s, and he's back tagging in the neighborhood. So it is a 25-year cycle of graffiti coming back, and if it doesn't come down, it will just get worse.
I know, and I want to try to stop it. I go up and down that corridor, and I'm going, oh my God, now this.
Okay. Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Jody. Camelia Tepelis?
Yes, thank you, Kelly. Just want to contribute because Chris, this is a chronic problem in Marble Hill, but also everywhere, as you pointed out now with Riverdale Avenue. Actually, the city of New York is having a big push, and all individual property owner can sign a consent form online, and the city adds the location on a database and they come and clean it up. It's a new push that they are having. The issue though is with the spaces that are sort of public spaces or city owned, right? Like I assume that the big wall along Riverdale Avenue that Chris mentioned, it would be sort of DOT custody. So then indeed 311 complaints would be the best way to proceed. Kelly, I do believe that the office actually has the link, and they even posted on social media a couple of times, I remember, where any single property owner, if they have graffiti on their wall, they could go into that form. It's a web form to say, I give consent to the city of New York to clean this graffiti. So just wanted to add that for everybody's information. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Miss Sylvia, you have a question or comment?
Not I.
Okay. Dan Paternak, any questions or comments, concerns?
No, just if there's anything that we need to clean up on the list that they either completed, I was just taking a stroll through, or if it's going to be moved out. I know Deb mentioned something was going to be moved out, for the Bailey, I guess triangle part of the Step Street. Kingsbridge, I don't remember. Was part of Kingsbridge Road repaved? I saw that a little bit further down on the list.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't been over there. Yeah, it's a full depth concrete road, which was why it had to end up on the capital list. They wouldn't just do it as part of their regular paving, but I haven't been on that stretch in near.
For some reason, I remember it being paved. I just can't remember when it was. and then which part of it. But the only thing I was just thinking about is just cleaning some of the stuff up if we can.
Mhm.
If there is anything that we can clean up, just based upon some of their things. There was one other thing that they had here. It said, and I don't know if it's an action for us to do, and I don't know why they were asking us, but conduct a parking study of Broadway corridor. And it said,
Mhm.
please contact the Borough Commissioner's office to discuss the request. I don't know if we need to follow up on that to see what it is that we need to do for that. It just said that please contact the Borough Commissioner's office. And some of them I understand why, on this one, I'm not sure. Like bus shelter and countdown clocks, I think that, it's interesting because some of the responses that we have here, bus shelter and countdown clocks on east side of West 231st Street. To me, it seems like it would be a funding issue, but here they have, it says further study. I don't know.
Right, and
what
that
much of a
was,
further study they would need for that.
right, and that was one of the comments that we wrote back. They contradicted themselves
Yeah.
in a number of areas. And we also told them, expressed that not repairing the step streets presents a danger to the community and subjects the city to unnecessary litigation. So hopefully
Yeah.
they will respond to that.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No, other than that, no other comments on this.
So thank you.
Mhm.
So Deb, if you could clean the list up and send it to the committee, and then we can add to that for 25.
Do we want to keep it with all these columns and things, or do you just want to like do it or
Yeah,
do a real
keep it
cleanup?
simple, but just do a real cleanup. This was actually their document that they
Yeah.
provided. So if you can clean it up, that would be helpful.
Yep, I can make it simple. Okay, cool.
All right. Old business, Miss Sylvia, I know that at the last meeting you asked about the intersection at 235 and Oxford. We're still waiting to hear from DOT. We did follow up with them, and I will update you as soon as I receive a response. Okay,
Thank you very much.
you're welcome. Is there any new business?
Oh, I just got to raise my hand.
Oh, okay, Chris and then Mary Ellen.
Ladies first. This time only.
So should I go?
Go.
237th Street, Riverdale Avenue by Chase Bank. There's a traffic light before that, but a lot of people cross that. There's like a cut in the street to cross the street, like in the sidewalk. But when you go to cross that street, there's no light there or even by the parkway, and it is really risky there. I crossed there going when I had Cousin's Lobster like last month, and like you can't time to see how long it's been red already. So when I went to cross, when I was holding the traffic at a red light, all of a sudden when I got to that middle on the yellow line, it changed and they were coming speeding for me. And I was like, oh my, I thought I was gonna pass out in the building. So that something, maybe a survey or something with that, crosswalks or another traffic signal to like break that up, because it's really dangerous there.
That's actually near the construction of the new Riverdale Avenue property. So I think that may be
No,
contributing.
it's up more. It's by the Chase Bank.
That's in the same general area where they have the scaffolding up, and it's 238. You're talking then if it's by the Chase Bank, 238.
It's very dangerous.
239. You're talking 239 in Riverdale Avenue, not 237.
It's actually 238.
Right, by Chase.
Yeah.
Because you have the whole U Day Spa there, you have the doctor's office, and Chase is on the corner of
If you
239.
go up a little bit more, it's like
It's this traffic circle.
it just comes
for-
flying at you in either directions, and
Right.
you have a chance of not getting killed. When I got stuck in the middle of that road, I was like, if it wasn't for the bus coming up, he kind of cut off the traffic like that. I was going to get hit, but it's really dangerous there. When I tell you, something's gotta be put
No.
on it. some kind of
I understand
crosswalk
what you're
somewhere.
saying, and no one is discounting the danger. But I also know that that is right near the construction area, and I think that there may be plans, that is a contention. One of the questions that was raised at, I believe, land use, about the traffic problems in that area due to the construction site.
It's not even a construction thing, it's a traffic signal thing, because
I understand that, Miriam.
it has nothing to do, I'm
It's
my
okay.
point across, and it's coming across as a
No.
construction issue. It's not a construction issue.
It's not a construction issue. All I said was it is near the construction site. And there is building development being done there. That's the, what is the name of that developer? Dan, help me out.
And I can't say that has anything to do with it, but
Yeah, are we talking about the stag development?
Yeah,
Mhm.
it's right. It's in that general area.
but
Yes.
that doesn't stop cars from flowing.
I understand it doesn't stop cars from flowing. It was just a point of reference that I made that is near the construction site, Mary Ellen. Okay,
Alright,
we will
I'll
note
be
it,
quiet, thanks.
and you don't have to be quiet. We will note it. And we can include that in the information, the request. So Chris Calhoun, followed by Deb Travis, followed by community member Sasha.
Thank you again, Kelly. Something that I think should be on our radar. For those that don't know, Chick-fil-A is coming to our neighborhood. It's coming to 225th Street at the Shops of Marble Hill. It's going to be one of the largest Chick-fil-A's within the 5 boroughs. I have nothing against Chick-fil-A. I love their sandwiches. For those of you that don't like them, whatever. But I'm sure you know one's coming into Yonkers too, and there was a whole thing about they do attract traffic. And that corridor down there is already quite dicey. And I just think we need to have this on our radar coming forward, that this is what's coming. And I can see the Broadway Bridge being backed up into Inwood, whatever. I know they're going to put in a couple of drive-throughs and whatever they're going to do to mitigate things, but these restaurants, because of their popularity, do attract a lot of cars, a lot of customers. I'm looking forward to a sandwich myself, but I think we need to just be a little proactive rather than reactive, that we know this is coming. And for those of you that don't know, it's in the former Applebee's location, which was a standalone building. Applebee's moved down the block to a smaller location, which was a Chase Bank. And this looks like this could be a tremendous headache there. That's all.
Thank you, Chris. You answered my one question. I was trying to figure out where it was going to be. You said by the Applebee's, where the Applebee's was.
I'll get us coupons before they open.
Okay. As long as it's less than $5, because we can't take any money from. the
Yeah,
restaurant.
whatever.
Deb?
I just wanted to raise our favorite intersection at Sedgwick and Van Cortlandt Avenue West is in horrible shape from multiple accidents running over the delineators on both sections of delineators, the Sedgwick ones and the Van Cortlandt Avenue West ones. So I feel like, you know, DOT maybe should study all of the damage that traffic is doing to their ideas, because they clearly aren't working. So it's still a dangerous intersection. But I just wanted to raise it. I don't know if there's anything the committee can do at this point, but just to keep talking about it.
Deb, can you, if it's safe for you to do so, can you take a picture and send it to me, and I'll send it to the office and have them follow up with DOT?
Sure.
Yeah, the funny thing is, it's probably safer without the delineators on the
Exactly,
cement block.
exactly.
Yeah, but they're missing in Sedgwick too. And so there's really nothing to help. If you're a pedestrian trying to get across, it's not so great because there's no middle anymore on the Sedgwick part of it. So it's a mess. Okay, I'll take a pic.
Okay, thank you. Mary Ellen, you have another question, comment? Mary Ellen? Okay, no. Sasha?
Hi, yes, thanks. I don't know if this is the right forum to raise this. I know this committee had talked before about the sidewalk between West 254th Street and the Metro North Riverdale train station. I know that there was a vote on it a couple of years ago. I was just curious to get an update and what the anticipated next steps we should look forward to are. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I will say to you that that predates my tenure on the committee. And so I do not have an answer for you, but I can look into it and report back.
I can give you an old answer. The old answer is that it's fully funded as a capital project. And that last year they said they were going to do it, start beginning community outreach, and they wanted to really focus on community outreach. And they were going to start doing it last year, like spring. So maybe they're running quite far behind. That's possible. I just don't have any update after that. So. But it is fully funded, and they were planning on doing extensive community outreach to make sure they had engagement because of the construction of the sidewalk.
Thank you, Deb.
Thank you.
Anyone else have any questions, comments, or concerns? Hearing nothing then, do I have a motion to adjourn tonight's meeting?
Motion.
Motion adjourn, second.
Second.
Third.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Have a great evening. Enjoy the weekend.
Care.
Enjoy
Good
the
night,
night.
everybody.
Good night.
Take care,
Good
everyone.
night.